So, Agni Sara, the essence of fire. And this area of the body is associated with fire. And I learned this practice at the Himalayan Institute, where it almost becomes a joke that whatever problem arises, just do more Agni Sara. It's an oversimplification, but it's just to let you know. Oh, FedEx man. It's just to let you know the power of this practice. If you're needing to digest not only your food but your life experience and emotions, this is a practice that's really supportive for it. So, as I said, it was a really prevalent practice at this ashram that I lived for 3 years, and nearly every program that I attended or that was offered there at some point had a component of Agni Sara because it's just such a revitalizing practice for this really important area of the gut. And when my teacher, Pandit Rajmani Tiganayat, taught it, he would have two young men usually come up on stage and he would do the practice and I'll show, Dally's coming in. He would have two young men come by and it's done. I'm gonna sorry. It looks like a lot like another movie you might know. Uh, your hands are down on your knees, and he would have one young man on either side, and then he'd bring their hands to his abdomen, and he had a big belly, and but it was totally movable and pliable. It wasn't hard, and he would do the practice, which is on an exhale, making root lock, throat lock, and then abdominal lock and lifting in and up. And his whole belly would come in and up and be able to move and flex. And then he'd have these young men kind of push in on his abdomen. He'd be like, totally soft, right? You can totally move the whole thing. And then he'd have them bring their hand to his rear and feel that as he was doing the practice. And during the practice, the glutes were rock hard. So you're activating from the ground, from the feet up, and activating the glutes as you're lifting in and up. And we'll start from the ground and take this step by step so that you can really connect to all of the muscles that are taking these actions and feel what's happening. And then we'll end up in standing, giving the full Agni Sara practice a go. So it adds on and continues to become different kriyas, but as you are getting comfortable with it, you can kind of be fluid with moving side to side, and then at the end we'll finish up with giving this flapping action a try. So this is sort of a fanning of the abdomen with the diaphragm. So all of this is to help deeply relax the tension that we can tend to hold in the abdomen and to use the muscles of the abdomen to move and churn the organs of digestion. So the finished practice that we'll get to today is on an exhale, lifting in and up, and then flapping. So I'm holding the exhale out and moving and flapping the abdomen. Cool, right? Okay. And then we'll move into a step by step progression of connecting to what it feels like to both be locking at the root and the abdomen and at the throat. And we'll do that lying on the ground. And then we'll come into all fours and work on kind of getting comfortable. This is a preparatory practice called Ganesh Mudra. And then we'll move up into Agni Sara in standing. Okay, we'll get settled on your back, head this way, feet this way.
All right. And let your hands come to a pause, and you can hold them right there at the solar plexus like Madison. And bring your feet into get ready for a bridge. So your feet are hip width apart, your toes are straight, they're aligned front to back and along the sides. And knees are hip width apart and feet are grounded. So now we'll get into kind of connecting a few different movements at once, moving towards our full Agni Sara practice. So the feet being grounded is really how you're going to kind of pull up this energy during the practice. So feel that all four corners of the foot stay grounded in your bridge and that the feet are straight. And bring your palms face down next to your hips, arms lengthened in two directions. All those points of contact on the spine are still in place at the tailbone, at the upper back and shoulders broadened, and at the head ramped. Good. And Mads, bring your feet a little bit back till you feel my hand. There you go. So as best you can, feeling that your shins are straight up and down, so not at an angle, so that all the force is going right down through your foot. Looks good. Now, grounding through the foot, keeping the spine organized as it is, activating the glutes to lift the hips just an inch or two. And we really want to feel that action at the foot activates the glutes to lift the hips. And then as you exhale, come down. And we'll just let this bridging action get bigger and bigger little by little. So inhaling, glutes activate, hips extend. Exhaling, hips lower, and legs relax, glutes relax. Inhale, pressing up, and little by little moving towards a hip bridge, not a back bending bridge, so that there's pretty much a straight line from your knee to your shoulder at the maximum extension of your hips in this pose. Good. And in the details of this, feeling that as you exhale and your exhale finishes and your hips set down, take a brief pause after exhale and let the glutes relax. And then as you inhale, feel the glutes engage. I'd like you to pay close attention to the details of how your glutes are firing and the relationship of that between your feet and the glutes. So how is weight being distributed left to right? Is one glute firing faster than the other? Is one part of the glute firing more than other parts of the glutes? So all of these details are really what we're wanting to get into relationship with, so that we're beginning to build familiarity with what's actually happening in our muscle activations. Good. And as you relax completely on your next repetition, become aware of the pelvic floor. So a gentle lifting in and up at the urethra, in and up, at the perineum, in and up, and at the anus rectum sphincter, in and up. So this is a containment that happens in correlation with the feet. That's root lock. So this lifting gently in and up at all of those areas is a part of containing the energy that we're looking to pull upwards as we move into Agni Sara. Good. All right, and now we're going to add two, as you come up, pressing up and activating everything I've mentioned so far, and as you come down, emptying and beginning to try to give that hollowing out of the belly a try, a lifting in and up. So if a try of Uddiyana Bandha, or it looks cool, containment there. Good, and then release it. Take a few resting breaths, and then when you're ready, inhale, press up to bridge. Exhale, lower down, and as you're lowering down, still connected to the feet and the pelvic floor, this lifting in and up to hollow out the belly. So the lift, as much as possible, begins all the way from the root, so way down low. There's this beginning to feel this vacuum that we're creating in the abdomen from the lifting with the diaphragm, but it starts from the feet and the root. Good. And you can be sure to take resting breaths in between rounds and really feel the abdomen fill and relax any tension in between repetitions. We'll give that a try 2 or 3 more times. Good. And we're looking to get all of, as we go, looking to get all of this really coordinated. Cool. And as you are going, noticing the areas that we massaged into at the beginning, any areas that were tight, how does it feel? What's the connection feel like in those areas? One more time, glutes are on to press up, pelvic floor is engaged, exhale, coming down with control, seeing if you can begin to lift in and up as you're coming down, keeping those engagements. Good. And then as you place down, relax the abdomen and release it back. Good. And then let the heels kind of guide the way as you slide your legs long. Good. And shake out the toes, feel the extension in the hips, see if you can keep a containment at the low ribs. And take a few resting breaths with your legs really long. And begin to notice the rhythm of your breath. How long is your inhale? How long is your exhale? As best you can, taking out any pauses in the breath. Okay, and now for a few breaths, extend your exhale out. So you're taking your inhale in and down. It fills as low as possible in the abdomen. Inhale, filling low to high. Exhale, extend the exhale out like you are exhaling down, scanning down the body and out the soles of the feet. And lengthening the exhale to be as long as it could be until there's a brief pause after exhale, and then inhale arises in and down in the abdomen. So this extension of the exhale is utilizing the cleansing exhale to really empty the body of anything that we've churned up and old gases. Deep inhale fills, exhale is extended and emptying. Good. For the next few rounds, try to really keep the belly soft as you extend the exhale out. So we had been kind of squeezing around the center. See if you can keep the belly relaxed and let a little bit of activity happen in the diaphragm to press all of the air out, but the belly stays receptive. Good. And next time you inhale, a smooth transition to a passive exhale that's about the same length as the inhale, maybe a little bit longer. And then a smooth inhale. So set a steady, smooth rhythm of breath. And notice as we make this effort to have a smooth breath, inhale, smooth transition to exhale, what is the pattern of your breath like? So just like we have movement patterns or habit patterns or neural pathways, there's a pattern of the breath that's habituated. And a lot of the work that we're trying to do is establishing a really smooth, effortless breath that right now we're making really conscious, so that in your day-to-day life it can become unconscious and effortless to breathe in this way that is really soothing to your own nervous system. So in and down, smooth inhale, transition to a passive exhale that's complete. All right, really good. So we'll kind of keep that steady, smooth breath as our resting breath pattern. We may be using some of the extended exhales as we're moving into the kriyas or the actions that we're doing at the abdomen, but your kind of default mode resting breath is this steady, smooth, rhythmic breath. Okay, as you're ready, in an easeful way, come to all fours.
What way should my head be?
Oh, let's go this way.
This feels better.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to be working with the same thing. In this, the way that our feet were grounded before was the bottoms of the feet. Now the tops of the feet are sort of where we're getting our grounding and our activating through the lower portion of the body. And we'll start with me giving you sort of every little detail of what you're doing until we're kind of then going to set you free in movement to just explore the abdomen. So on all fours, try a few times a cat-cow. So inhaling, your head lifts and the chest drops and the tailbone lifts. And as you exhale, chin moves to the center of the throat and you're lifting in and up. Okay, so like a cat-cow that probably everyone's done. And then next time you inhale, dropping the chest, dropping the belly, letting everything really relax here. As you exhale, take that action at the abdomen, Uddiyana Bandha, lifting in and up, grounding the tops of the feet and really feeling the action come from as low as possible. And then inhale, drop the belly and move into cow position. Exhale, throat lock, root lock, abdominal lock, in and up. All right, so stay with the cat-cow a few times and get the action matching the breath. And it doesn't have to be the most extreme version of this, hollowing out of the belly. Any amount of lift and activation there is going to start building more and more relationship. So if you are, I'm going to throw a little list at you here. If you're menstruating, have any recent abdominal surgery or any recent eye surgery, if you're pregnant, if you have untreated high blood pressure, or really anything going on with your abdomen or eyes, or anything that would be disturbed by too much pressure inside the body, this would be where you would stop. You could just continue here with this area that we'll move into, and maybe the next step we'll get it a little bit more free flowing, but keeping just the gentle movement and reconnection to this area as your stopping point, because as we move on, we're going to be creating a lot of pressure in the system, and we just want to be sure that your body's ready for that. Good. And then a few times in this position, you can hold the exhale out and see if you can release and activate again, and release and activate again. So with the breath held out, seeing what that feels like. Good. So if you have had a C-section or some abdominal surgery, this is a good way to reconnect with those muscles and begin to re-enliven the areas that get dense with fascial tissue or scar tissue. Good. And now the next round, think about pressing with the tops of your feet and your hands as you lift in and up. And then on your inhale, release. Good. So it's like you're kind of pulling all the energy from the periphery right into the center of your body. And the throat lock, chin towards the center of the throat, is the top of the containment of this pressure capsule we're building in the torso. Cool. All right, and next time you exhale, release and send your hips towards your heels and just relax into child's pose and feel the effect of the practice. Feel the heat that's built, feel the connection or maybe lack of connection that you feel in the abdomen, and just make this area that we can become unconscious of a little more conscious. Let everything relax. If this isn't comfortable for you in child's pose, you can just rest on your belly, flat on your abdomen, maybe forehead resting on the forearms. All right, and reaching your hands up overhead, really keeping your tailbone grounded, really reach overhead and lengthen the side bodies in the underarm. Take a few big breaths, seeing if you can really feel breath move in the back body. And then ground through the palms as you inhale and exhale. And then on your next inhale, rise back up to all fours. And in your all fours position, really contain the core, so that action that we did at the abdomen, my hands are cold, I'm sorry. Chin towards the center of the throat, core actions in place. And then the palms are grounding down. Now we'll sort of shift side to side. So on an exhale, shift your weight to the left leg and the left hand, and exhale, hollow out the belly, come up and back to center. And as you inhale, the belly drops in the center. We'll try that a few times to the left. So left, in and up, and back around, dropping in the center. Good. So seeing if you can really kind of check in, hone in on the left side, in and up, and then dropping in the center. And this is bringing in the whole side body action, the whole left glute, and still having the chin lock. Good. So if you have any of those conditions that I mentioned just in the last action that we were doing, you can do this portion gently, but again, paying really close attention to being gentle. And then next time you come to the center, pause, come back to child's pose, and feel the difference side to side. Take your mind and attention down into the abdomen area and feel if you notice any difference. So this can be a way of sensing internally the sort of connection and liveliness that we're trying to cultivate in the abdomen. Sometimes having a contrast side to side allows for you to see through insight a little bit more what is happening from this practice. Good, and then ground the palms, and on an inhale, come back up to all fours, and then to the right side. So right hand and foot ground and lift in and up and drop in the center. And this version, we will be holding the exhale out, but see if you can keep it really smooth. So you're exhaling, lifting in and up, and it smoothly transitions right into the inhale as you drop in the center. So notice if there's any jerks or catches in the breath and try to smooth those out. So we're talking to our nervous systems through the vagus nerve, through how we're moving, through the steady smoothness and the gentleness, communicating to our body that we're attentive to its needs and creating a safe internal environment for exploration. Really good. Okay, if it ever feels like you need more rest time than I'm giving, go ahead and come into child's pose or onto your abdomen. We'll move straight into sort of a little bit more of an intuitive movement. So thinking of your body like it's making a figure eight. So like your nose is making a figure eight here as you move one direction. And whenever your exhale happens, you're adding that lifting in and up. So you're moving side to side, up and back with your mind and attention in the navel center, and you can't do it wrong. You're just moving and churning at the abdominal center. So if it feels like you're not connected in low into the glute or the abdomen or the root lock, kind of move your hips back and really connect into those places in the hips, activating them as you lift in and up. If it feels like one side versus the other doesn't have a whole lot of connection, move into that area. Again, you can't do it wrong. This is moving into that version of the preparatory practice, Ganesh Mudra. And Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. So this action is about removing obstacles in the abdomen through the torso. Yes. So as you're exhaling and taking the chin towards the center of the throat or ramping your head, that action is the containment at the throat. If you've practiced a lot with me and you're familiar with this, also adding the tongue to the roof of the mouth, flat and broad, as you're containing the chin towards the throat as you exhale. So, and this one is, we're kind of exploring and feeling our way through. So try some different ways that it may feel like what I'm talking about with the root lock, and then try to find the way that it feels more smooth and effortless. Huh? All right. Rest when you need to. Come into child's pose. Some deep breaths. So this is not called the essence of fire for nothing, y'all. So it builds this internal heat. So you may feel that and notice that. Good. And whether you're on your belly or in child's pose, stay there. So come back to child's pose. And take a deep inhale, really fill the torso, feel pressure from fullness of breath, and on your exhale, sigh out of the mouth. And extend the exhale out. So sound production, noise production, and the sighing specifically is another way of communicating through your action to the nervous system, like, we're okay. All of this is in an effort to build vagal tone, or this ability for the nervous system to recover faster and faster. Okay, so completely recovering before we move into our final work of Agni Sara. So bringing your arms up overhead, come to all fours, tuck the toes back behind you, and we'll be coming into a down dog. So you're lifting from the knees and lifting the hips and coming up into a downward facing dog. Good. On an inhale, on an exhale, come down. Back to all fours. Now this time, you'll exhale as you move up and try Uddiyana Bandha in this action. So as you exhale, you're lifting the knees, coming up, hollowing out the abdomen, and gravity is now supporting you. Chin locks in place, still good. And then inhale, come back down to all fours. So I'm trying to give you a few access points to really feeling this action of Uddiyana Bandha in different ways. Good. Next time you come into downward facing dog, hold after and release Uddiyana Bandha in downward dog, and walk the hands back towards the feet. And it'll be in a deep knee bend, passive forward fold at the back edge of your mat. And let the head relax, knees deeply bend, and just let all of that we've been churning up kind of pour forward. Okay, and then we'll come slowly, very slowly, like you're walking up your legs into standing. So letting the blood drain slowly from the head, and taking any precautions that you need if you know that it's not comfortable for you to have your head below your heart. Okay, and we're up. What's up? Hello. So we'll come to the center of the mat just to show, and give yourself time to recover there. Okay. So one of my first teachers of this said, come into a position like you're coaching third base. So your knees are wider than your hips apart, and you're ready to send the runner through with your hands on your knees. I don't know if this is a good analogy for you. Whatever. So the weight of your upper body is resting onto your knees. Or, maybe twerking is a better analogy for you. Okay, so it's so that your pelvis can be really relaxed and loose. Good. And the weight of your upper body is on your hands. Your feet are grounded, and we're remembering that action through the feet that we did in bridge. So you're pressing down with active feet, and on an exhale, it's just starting in the center, lift with root lock in and up, and see if you can make that action at the center. Good, and on an inhale, release. So on the exhale is when you make all of the containments at the root and at the chin. And on the exhale is when you begin to lift in and up. Good. And it could be that 2 or 3 of these gets you heated enough where you're feeling it and you need to stand up and take a few resting breaths. Or you may be like into it and feel fine, and you can begin to shift your weight side to side. So just like we did on all fours, shifting weight to the right foot, lifting in and up on the right side, shifting weight to the left foot, in and up on the left side. Yeah, and kind of moving the chin, the knee towards the center. You can kind of really pull in and up. Both can come in and up. So where all the different areas that you felt were tight or dense or lack of connection, go there with movement and this quality of attention held in the abdomen. Good. And the root lock can sometimes get lost. So remembering feet, containment, in and up, all those areas, specific areas of the pelvic floor I mentioned. And then chin lock is chin towards the center of the throat, extension up through the back of the crown to create that containment. Good. And next time, after your next round, after you inhale again, press up to standing and bring your feet under your hips and come into a nice contained standing pose and just feel the effects of the practice. Breathe in and down like you're breathing all the way down into your root. Extend up through the back of the crown and hold your gaze still on a single point and bring your sense of sight inward for insights into the effects of this practice and into the abdomen. Seeing if you can feel breath moving in a different way through your torso, maybe not just in the front, in the sides and in the back, like you're filling from bottom to top with breath. Good, and feel your bones stacked. So notice if you're shifted towards the front or the back of your feet and get centered on your feet. Good. All right, and now just noticing what happened. Was there heat building? How do you feel? And then we'll give the abdominal flapping a try. Okay, so feet come wide, you're coaching third base, your hips are back, hands on your knees. Exhale happens, you hold the exhale out, suspend the exhale out, and then release and activate the abdomen. So remember the chin lock. Yep. Yep, you got it.
I did it.
You did it. Good.
Come up for air.
Yeah, so a few of these may build enough heat to be enough. So just giving it a try. So this is building connection and muscle responsiveness, motor control with the diaphragm in a really fun party trick kind of way. But it's hugely impactful for moving all the stagnant energy and all the tight gripping that happens during states of anxiety and high stress deep in the belly. So we're really after a deep relaxation of the abdomen. One more time. Go ahead and then come to standing and bring your feet under your hips. Pause there. And then we're going to pretty quickly come into lying. So after you are in standing and kind of settle yourself, come to lying flat on your back. And you can hold your hands on your abdomen, still really deeply connecting with this area of the body. What did you learn about yourself that you didn't know 45 minutes ago? Or what did you feel about yourself that you couldn't feel 45 minutes ago? And just always with this practice, remembering to take a gentle approach. It's not all going to change in one session. It's gentle daily effort of connecting to this area where we'll start to see changes in digestion. And it could be immediate. You could need to go now. Something is ready to leave you. And just for a little while, kind of being flexible with and aware of the changes that happen in your bowel movements. Okay, come to a completely relaxed state, palms up at your side, covering if you need to or would like to. Okay, this concludes our guided Agni Sara practice. Rest if you can for at least 6 or 7 minutes.